Where in the Folk is not and should not be viewed as a news source. Any names, places, or likenesses mentioned are purely fictional, and any information discussed is purely speculative. Guest opinions are their own and do not reflect those of anyone else. Where in the Folk is not responsible for content accuracy of any stories that are told or what people do with these stories. This show is vulgar, sometimes graphic, and due to its content, it should not be viewed by anyone, actually.
Welcome to another episode of Where in the Folk. I hope everybody's had a great week. How you all been?
Busy.
Yes, very busy. Otherwise, okay, though.
So it's been a crazy week for sure, and we're going to get into that soon. We've recently changed platforms on streaming, and it doesn't look like we're going to Rumble right now. So,
are you sure?
Yeah, but I hope everybody else can see us. So let's see. The chat just popped up for me too, so that's awesome.
Cool.
It says recording in progress live on Rumble.
Does it? Sweet.
Yes.
Groovy.
Now I don't know how to get into it, but hang on. Let me see if I can actually get in this to watch us. Yep, I'm in it.
Boobies. So, where do you want to get started at tonight?
I'm sorry. You're going to have to give me a second.
I have something to say while you're doing that.
Go for it, Morgana.
They found the baby alligator that escaped from the petting zoo last week.
Oh.
After 10 days, they found him.
Did you hear that, Morgana?
Mama. Yes.
Ridiculous.
Oh, come on now, Totally. Don't be like that.
So, anyway, so we have been starting with something like last week we talked about Project Mockingbird just to talk about history a little bit. The history lesson for this week in conspiratorial that we're going to throw out there is this is an article from 2018. It's called The Voice of God.
Voice of God.
And the highlight for the article was the U.S. military is making lasers that create voices out of thin air. Within 3 years of 2018, the Pentagon's non-lethal weapons lab hopes to have a direct energy weapon that can produce an effect like a haunted walkie-talkie or the biblical burning bush.
Nice.
It's an auditory effect that's created by military scientists who manipulate the air with lasers. And it's the Pentagon's most interesting idea for stopping people or just scaring the crap out of them, it says. The U.S. military's Joint Non-Lethal Weapons Program, or JNLWD, is inching closer to a weapon that alters atoms to literally create words from thin air. It's a laser-induced plasma effect, and fingers crossed, they said. They hope to be able to say intelligible words within the next 3 years. I wonder why the public hasn't gotten an update on this recently.
Well, I mean, the Voice of God is kind of like a direct derivative from what they were trying to bring out in the Gulf War, when they were wanting to kind of project a vision, like really just an image of Allah above the people, so that they would like stop fighting.
Yeah.
Every bit of it sounds like it's a precursor to what we know as blue beam.
Yes.
So I mean, at any point in time, you could just start hearing a voice, and it's because the government sent you the sound.
Yeah.
I'm hoping that's what's happening to me in a way.
So, have you heard of the Havana effect?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
So the Havana effect may actually be. Hang on, I'm gonna have to go on mute.
So, the Havana effect. What do you know about it, Morgana?
Very little.
Very
because
little.
I know that when we first opened up the borders between us and Cuba several years ago, I know that people were getting sick down there. It was like groups of people were getting sick.
Yeah.
I'd heard that they didn't know what was causing it.
Yeah, I mean that's basically what it is. People were suffering from things like insomnia, headaches, and things like this. But they're legitimate, and I think it might even be known to be true now. That there was basically sound waves that we were pushing off. It might still be like a conspiracy or whatever.
So the voice of God technology, I mean, it's rumored to have been around for a long time, like way longer than even 2018. But people say that, I mean, think of what you could do with something like that. Like if you could project a voice in maybe, let's say somebody who isn't mentally stable already, and you can project a voice that says that it's God or whoever, a dead loved one, and give them directions to do something. Think of the implications there.
Yeah, it's hard to say.
Well, yeah. And that's, one of the big things. I mean, I know Mike said, he already hears voices. A lot of people do. I mean, so you start putting, serious, real, suggestions into the minds of people who are already, not sure.
Right.
That's what I'm looking at. So I'm going to pause for just a second, guys. Y'all go ahead.
All right.
Cecil, you may have to, I know you said you were going to keep Rumble up. You may have to keep Rumble up to get the comments. I think we're only going to see comments from YouTube and Twitter on here and view count.
Absolutely. I don't think we're on Rumble, but I'll take your word on it.
I could literally share it and show it to you live right now.
That's fine. But what we got next on the agenda here?
Today has been a good day.
Today's been a wonderful day. Thank you, sir.
So why don't we do the funny of the week?
Let's do the funny of the week.
And this will hopefully get easier as we use these new softwares, trying them out and stuff. So just bear with us if something's wonky. So the funny of the week, there's a remote Amazon tribe that finally connected to the internet.
Ooh, how's that going?
And after they connected to the internet, so it's a super reclusive Amazon tribe that got connected to the internet via Starlink, only to be torn apart by social media and pornography addiction. Elders of the tribe are complaining. Brazil's 2,000-member Marubo tribe has been left bitterly divided by the arrival of Starlink 9 months ago at this point, which connected the remote rainforest community to the internet for the first time. And since then, it's basically the tribe elders are saying that it's changing the public to be very lewd.
Okay, I have a question. I would think if they were that remote, they wouldn't even have electricity. So how do you jump from totally remote to pornography?
That's what I'm saying.
I mean, they probably got Tesla technology or something, Oh, I bet somebody brought in cell phones or something. Do you think they would get cell phone service?
Well, if Starlink's available out there, probably.
Well, so
I mean, why not?
I thought they had put like a damper on Starlink. Didn't they suppress it a little bit because of their leaking radiation?
I don't know. I'll be honest with you, until a year ago, I didn't know what the hell Starlink was.
It got seen around here, and I had friends sending me videos like, "Hey, man, did you see this UFO?"
Uh-huh. Well, I think it was Sarah had made the comment the first time she saw it and didn't realize what it was, thinking it's finally happening, First contact, and it ended up being Starlink.
Yep. So let's see.
So yeah, after that, I had to go look it up to see what it looked like, so I wouldn't be fooled.
Yeah.
If it was ever in my neighborhood.
Neat. So let's see. For recruiters and you want to go with the Mexican candidate?
Hit it.
Next.
So we don't go into politics a whole lot, but there's a headline that was stunning. Apparently, Mexico's election is now the bloodiest in modern history after a candidate running for local office in central Puebla state was murdered on Friday at a political rally, taking the number of assassinated candidates to 37 ahead of Sunday. That's wild. Mexico is off the chain right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, that doesn't even count the beatings. They had 828 non-lethal attacks on presidential candidates, and only 37 of them died.
That's insane.
Yep. So I'm sure that process is wonderful.
That's insane, dude. Like, what's causing it? Do they know what's causing all this? Like, is it from strictly the cartels, or is it just people revolting?
I don't know. It sounds like manipulation to me. You know what I mean? Like they're getting rid of them for a reason.
I mean, is there
it
anybody
sounds like they have had a long conversation with a fella across the pond over there that never has anybody to run against him. Just take out all your competition and call it a day.
Fair enough.
It led the way for the first female president in Mexico.
That's true.
So there's a silver lining to all those assassinations.
I mean, it's a wild situation, and I don't know. Like, is there anybody left on there? Like, they're gonna flooding across pretty quick. Like, I don't know. It's so. So we'll move right along. How's it going with Boeing?
I have something once you get done.
Okay. So Boeing Starliner capsule finally launched this week. It was an Atlas V rocket that blasted off Wednesday. And I don't know whether it was Wednesday, but it was one day this week that was Marvin Heemeyer's birthday. I think it was.
It was the 20th anniversary of Marvin Heemeyer wrecking the town.
Oh,
yeah.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Rest in peace.
I do like the fact that they took his exact concept and they're using it in that war. Like, they have those exact same bulldozers over there right now.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. The killdozers that they had in Israel.
Mm-hmm. They have a shitload of them. So he invented something practical.
So the Starliner, the Boeing Starliner, wasn't launched without a hitch, though. It had a small but persistent helium leak in the manifold. And it was in lines that were routing pressurized gas to valves that operated to a thruster. Nice. So the launch was delayed for several weeks for troubleshooting. And it's of note that NASA actually helped fund that. Nice. I don't know why Boeing needs NASA money.
Anyway. Boeing, Boeing probably needs government money, is what that is. We funnel billions upon dollars. It's easy to resolve a safety issue if you have billions of dollars being pumped into you. So everybody's muted. This freaks me out.
I'm not muted. That speaker indicator thing was driving me crazy.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I've got a dog that keeps barking behind me, so I keep hitting the button.
Will it bother you guys if there's no speaker indicator?
No, it's fine.
Okay. It's flashing in my peripherals.
Well, I just want to say you stole my story.
Which story?
The Boeing one.
The Boeing one?
Yeah.
You should know we know what's going with Bone.
we got to check every week.
I know. And, I thought it was funny that they brought a much needed replacement pump for the urine processor.
Nice.
Yeah.
So
they're going to try to put that in place tomorrow. It changes urine into water.
Well, that's a good thing.
Okay.
I'll take their word for it. And, I wouldn't know what it was like to have billions being pumped into me, but I would be willing to give it a try, take one for the team.
So I've got one that I brought this week in the vein of true crime, since we don't do a lot of true crime.
Oh, cool.
They found 10,000 pieces of human remains on a serial killer's farm this week, and authorities are still identifying victims. And it started out for years. A peaceful $1 million farm in Indiana was a serial killer's playground of Herb Ballmeister. What a funny name. And it says when cops finally raided his... You're going to have to kill that.
Oh, do I have to kill that?
Yeah, it's doubling up audio when you do that.
No.
So it says that, oh, Lord, I lost my spot. So north of Indianapolis, they uncovered 10,000 human remains, mostly crushed and burned skeletal fragments of young men who he abducted and murdered in the 80s and 90s. And nearly 30 years after he offed himself while on the run from the police, authorities are still sifting through the remains and identifying victims. Ballmeister was a businessman, married father of 3, and he actively hunted gay men in central Indiana beginning in at least 1980. He's believed to have killed at least 25 people. His wife, who initially blocked law enforcement from searching the property, later divorced him as evidence started to pile up. So it sounds like she might have knew something. Authorities eventually searched the property when he wasn't home and found the bodies of several victims, recent victims, I guess. And he was 49 at the time, fled to Ontario, Canada in 1996 after the warrant was issued, and fatally shot himself.
Now this has actually been going on for a little bit. Like, I heard about this about a month and a half ago. I guess they're just finding more and more stuff.
Yeah, they keep finding more and more stuff.
It's untelling how many people were actually spread across his property.
Nick made a good point. If you put a big beard on him, you guys could be brothers.
I think I got a few pounds on the guy, but yeah, it's I'm really interested to see what they end up finding, because 10,000 pieces of bone, that's quite a few. It's untelling how many, because I don't know if they'll ever match them all up either. Like, it's probably, and what's really scary about this is he's probably one of the more prolific ones, but it's untelling how many more are out there that are just like this, like just acres of land, and people just don't come around.
Okay, so I found the Rumble chat, and Steven says that we're live.
Awesome.
Yeah, I got confirmation a minute ago on him. Yeah, I asked him straight up. But yeah.
I mean, just to completely ignore the 5 times that I tell you that we're live.
Oh yeah. You know how I am. I get nervous about it.
I know, dude. I'm just kidding. Where do you? I did have an update on a story. Let me find that update. We were talking about this the other week. If you remember, Windows' new Recall AI that's going to follow you from computer to computer.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So, update of the week: a vigilante hacker created a tool that is able to extract all the data collected by Windows' new Recall AI. Windows Recall takes a screenshot every 5 seconds. Cybersecurity researchers say that the system is simple to abuse And one so-called ethical hacker has already built a tool to show how easy it really is. When Microsoft CEO Satya Nadella revealed the new Windows AI tool that can answer questions and track your stuff, and he said one of the magical thing, or she said one of the magical things about it was that the data doesn't leave your laptop. The Windows recall system takes screenshot of your activity every 5 seconds, saves them on the device, but the security experts say that the data may not stay there for long. 2 weeks ahead of recall's launch, on June 18th, security researchers have demonstrated how preview versions of the tool store the screenshots in an unencrypted database. The researchers say the data can be easily hoovered up by an attacker. And now, in a warning about how recall could be abused by criminal hackers, a cybersecurity strategist and ethical hacker has demoed that tool, dubbed Total Recall after the 1990s sci-fi film. The tool can pull all the information that recall saves. So all of your information, everything about you, including your browsing. It's basically just an unencrypted temp database that it's storing it into. And he said that when he was looking at recall and looking at the AI, that it was more similar to an old school Trojan horse.
Nice.
Than artificial intelligence. But that's been a big topic recently, is like data security and privacy. The big push to get rid of TikTok because they're selling your data. But it seems very pointed. They're not going after these other companies that have really big problems like this. And this wasn't the only one that I brought to the table this week. We all love a good Facebook story and Instagram. For those of you who may think those are safer than, say, a TikTok, here's where we go down the hole on that one. They're training AI now on Facebook and Instagram. And the headline was, who can opt out of Meta's AI data training and who can't? The answer to that is only European Union and United Kingdom users are guaranteed an option to opt out because they've created laws against it.
Yes, yes, they have.
This is a huge data infringement that nobody's talking about. And starting on June 26th, Meta's going to use all of your data, all of your pictures, everything that you search to train their AI. And you really don't have a right to object on it, because same thing with everything else that they've done wrong over the years.
Yeah.
They're a private, quote unquote, private company, and they can do whatever they want to with your data, include sell it to other countries. They do it. And I think a good point, somebody asked the TikTok CEO at one point, they're like, well, how do we make money off you selling data?
Yeah.
And that's the big problem, is they all do make money off the selling of this data from Facebook and Instagram and Meta, and Twitter was in the same boat. 23andMe, we talked about that one the other week.
Well, every probably a time or two a year, I'll see where people start posting, dear Facebook, I don't give you permission to use this, and this. And I'm like, people, when you sign up, it tells you we're going to use all this. And when you say, okay, you have already agreed to it. Yes. You can't take that back just by posting a post that says, I don't give you permission. Because you've already signed a legally binding contract with them saying they can use everything you have.
Well, I mean, everything is tracking you no matter what. These right here, do you remember the videos of people filming these cell phones with the infrared?
Yes.
Every 5 seconds, this thing takes a picture of you. Like, and all that's getting stored somewhere. Like, it's like there is no secrecy anymore, and we've opened up the floodgates for it. Like we bought into it, we did it. I do it. We're doing it right now.
Well, it's because it was a soft rollout. Like they got phones in everybody's hands first, and it was a conspiracy that everything was listening. I mean, that really legitimately was a conspiracy back in like 2008, 9, 10, 11, 12.
Right.
Until Snowden. And then when Snowden happened, they're like, oh, but it's because of national security.
Right. It's because of people like Snowden.
Yes. Like he's actually the reason
Yeah.
that we were doing this.
Exactly.
And it wasn't until he really came out that people were like, oh my God. And it's the same thing with any tough to hear information. There's a lot of people out there that when they hear uncomfortable things like that, it's almost like how your mind shuts off when you're going through something really traumatic.
Mm-hmm.
People just refuse to hear it. The same thing with all of these data infringements that are going on.
Mm-hmm.
People are focusing on the one thing that the talking heads on TV are telling them, when the reality is like it's a complete hellscape when it comes to data integrity. Like you have no privacy to data on the internet now.
Well, that's I have not paid for, but I have had the thing where they watch your credit and stuff for, bogus charges and stuff like that because of data breaches.
Mm-hmm.
Target gets hit. Hey, we're going to pay for this for the next 3 years so that you can keep an eye on it. Okay, that's fine, but I'd really rather you, secure your data a little bit better. But I mean, and I've been lucky. I have not gotten hit with anything hard, but I know just by being on here, I jokingly always tell y'all I'll never have Alexa because of the lawsuit they had a few years ago. There was a man that his wife was murdered, and they were pretty sure he did it, but they couldn't prove it. So they tried to sue Amazon because, Alexa just picks up, and so do all of them do, but they hold on to bits of information, even though they say they don't. They do.
For sure.
Yeah. So
Absolutely.
They're like, we want to subpoena this, and Amazon fought it. And I'm like, I can't tell you how many times my husband does something. I'm like, you asshole, I'm going to kill you.
Yeah.
That's what they would get if they, subpoenaed my stuff and something happened to me. So therefore I don't have it.
I've already got one snitch living in this house. I don't need another.
Right.
Well, it gets worse. I mean, it's been proven that when you turn your phone off, your phone is still listening and can see.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And when your phone goes dead, it does save enough juice for it,
yes,
but not for your use.
Right. Or Bluetooth in your car. I have Bluetooth in my car. I don't use it very often, but it's there. I use it to listen to books, but it's hooked up to my phone every day to and from work because that's when I usually listen.
Well, Mike, I'm going to give you a pass on your Echo speaker, sir.
But let's go to something a little less scary than this. Well, what about these big fucking spiders?
Oh my God, I hate you. I hate you. Right now, you are my least favorite person. Do you know this is like my nightmare come true? Flying venomous spiders.
Yep.
Ugh.
So right here's a good little picture of them. So
the legs, look at it. It's like off of Beetlejuice. Or maybe
I don't disagree with what you're saying, Tubby.
Yeah.
I think manifestation is a thing.
Yes, absolutely.
So these spiders, apparently this happened a couple years ago, but they're back in the northeast United States is bracing for invasion of these giant venomous spiders. For those that can't see it, they have a leg span of about 4 inches. The unique thing about these things are they can fly. So flying spiders is always a good thing. But while it's not accurate flight and aviation sense, those spiders utilize a technique known as ballooning, where they release silk threads into the air, allowing them to get carried by the wind. So they're like Spider-Man, they're just a little bit more efficient. They are venomous, but lucky for us, they don't really pose a danger to us. They only use it when they got things in their webs like butterflies, wasps, and cockroaches. So how do you feel about seeing one of these just floating through the air? Would you love it?
So I have a question. What happens on that morning? I walk out my back door and they have created a web overnight across it, and I face plant it. Does that make me all of a sudden something caught in their web?
It makes me a
Oh,
dance.
no.
Ooh, good God.
That's a nightmare.
Yes, I was worried about cicadas. My God, give me the cicadas. At least they just aggravate me.
There is something beautiful about them, though. That blue, like that blackish blue and yellow, they almost look like the bumblebee of the spider in a way.
Well, I think you said this. They said that their legs on the females can be 4 inches long, just the legs.
Yes.
Yep.
But that's what it reminds me of. Did you ever see the movie Coraline?
Yes.
When the mother, the fake mother at the end turns into the spider, that's who those legs remind me of.
Yeah.
Ugh. Okay, we're going to move on to a better story, Cecil.
Okay.
All right.
So
there's this 63-year-old guy. He made an article in the American Journal of Medical Case Reports. He was 63 years old, and he was recovering from surgery. They were at a diner having breakfast. He sneezed and started coughing, and part of his intestines fell out. I'm sorry, his colon. Yeah, his colon fell out. Said he had prostate cancer and underwent abdominal surgery. They had the stitches removed that morning, told him everything was doing good. So he and his wife went out for a celebratory breakfast, and he started sneezing, and then he started coughing, and he had noticed a wet sensation and pain in his lower abdomen. Looking down, he observed several loops of pink bowel protruding from his recent surgical site. They were able to fix him. He had a little blood loss. They rushed him to a medical facility. And the doctors want everybody to understand this is something that almost never happens. But just be aware that you can sneeze your guts out.
I had some Long John Silver's the other day, and I thought that was going to happen to me.
I don't know if I know anybody that eats Long John Silver's other than you.
I tried it one time years ago. Ew.
There's nothing better than seafood that originates out of Lexington, Kentucky.
I think the cartel operates that place.
Because we're surrounded by ocean,
Once upon a time, there was a cartel place that opened up a pizza place in Kentucky, and they made so much money at pizza that they got out of the cartel business. I've got to find that. Yeah, it's been a couple decades ago, but yeah, I need to find that and send it to you because I thought that was pretty cool. That you can make more money making pizza in Kentucky than being part of a drug cartel.
Yeah,
that's true though.
Okay, you had another weird picture too. Was that part of the spiders?
No. That was a picture I took of myself earlier.
So speaking of spiders, I brought another story on the human brain organoids this week.
Yes.
So they've hooked up a human brain organoid to a robotic arachnid.
Ew.
Just to see what would happen. And it is very terrifying. It just walks around like a robot with a human brain, pretty much. It's very sporadic, and it hasn't been trained by AI in this scenario. But like we were talking about last week, like once and they claim that these organoids don't have consciousness, but that they can process things like a computer, like a biological computer chip. I don't know about it all.
Don't they set up stuff like that though to learn? It's like AI training. They put it in there and it starts out being something simple, and then it starts learning stuff.
Yeah.
And then they've taken over, and we've got not only the damn flying spiders, but we've got the robotic human spiders. Anything that has a spider involved does not need to exist.
This particular
I like spiders.
this particular article said that there's one called Jack Jr., a tiny brain organoid that wears a spider robotic costume to move around and interact with the environment. And the potential applications of this. Here we go. This technology could lead to the development of more advanced robots that can learn, adapt, interact with their environment in a more human-like way. And as research continues to advance, we can expect to see even more innovative applications of human brain organoids. Nobody has seen Terminator.
Right?
Like none of these people have seen Terminator or Transcendence.
Oh.
I would rather have Transcendence than Terminator.
Like the T2 Liquid Man.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like that's where we're headed. Is like something that's like indistinguishable from a human.
Mm-hmm. Or iRobot, the computer says we're going to hurt ourselves, so it takes over.
Yeah.
Because it has to follow those rules.
Damn rules.
All right.
Trying it again.
Cecil?
I think this is kind of what they're going toward.
yeah, dude.
So, if you remember Crane, that's him right there.
No, but I do remember Doctor Who and the Daleks. I'm still going to have to get y'all to watch that one day. It's these little robots that their job is to terminate, and when they finally show them, there's like this little glob of brain with eyes.
Nice.
In the side of it, inside of it. Reminds you a little bit of the little monster in the dude's head from Men in Black, the first one.
Yeah.
Yeah, something like that. But, I just, as much as I play with AI and I enjoy it, there are certain applications that I really don't want to see happen. And most of what you talk about is those applications. Just let me make some funky artwork.
I mean, they always kind of like pose it with what it can do to benefit us.
Mm-hmm.
But anything that has a capability of learning can learn to hate.
Yes.
And it's all terrifying when it comes to that. Like, the movie Terminator legitimately was them like just eradicating us. And anytime that they've wanted to do what was best for humanity and they program it into AIs, it's like eliminate humans. Mm-hmm. So I mean, it's not a real good idea.
Yeah, I read a book a couple of summers ago that it was like 2 or 3 in the series, but it basically came down to these beings from outer space were blocking the sun to freeze us, to eradicate humanity. And it ended up that it was us from the future, because we had told us, if anything tries to hurt humans, you need to take it out. So this AI that we had created was going back in time to kill humanity because we weren't good for us. So, and sadly, I read way too many books about that kind of stuff. So
I don't think it's that dystopian at this point.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I guess, given all the technical stuff we've got going on, maybe we should end a couple minutes early.
Yeah.
Just so we can debrief on functionality.
Yeah. Thank you all for bearing with us while we're trying to go through this transition. We're trying to find something that's better for audio tech quality and things like that. For my sake, to keep me from going crazy, but we'll
keep you from going crazy.
Yeah, crazier.
Okay.
When I get mad, I get furious. So, what do we have coming up tonight on Weird Awakenings? What's being covered? I forgot.
Colorado.
Strange Colorado. Tune in in about 20 minutes on Weird Awakenings on the Weird Realities Network. And tonight will be the first showing of the special with Tracy. It's called Shaman Talk, right?
Shaman Talk, Shaman Walk.
Shaman Talk, Shaman Walk. That comes on at 9 Eastern.
Mm-hmm.
So make sure to tune into that on Weird Realities Network. And we actually we threw out a olive branch to somebody a while back named Daniel Benoit. That I received his name and I told Tully to reach out to him, and he actually got back with us today. So tell everybody a little bit about that, Tully.
Yeah, so we tentatively are going to be talking to him at 7 tomorrow.
Yeah.
And he has a huge background in cryptozoology.
Ooh.
Lots of Bigfootness. So
We know it's short notice, but he's like, yeah, let's do it tomorrow.
yeah, so that'll be something different. It'll be really our first sort of wearing the folk session that we've done in a while. We actually were talking about that this week, is firing them back up. I know we would like to talk to Stephen Hill soon and Morgana.
Hi.
That's how we met Morgana.
That is how we met Morgana, but it would be cool to like really focus on maybe more philosophical and esoteric talk.
Cool.
And just more about your life than flying spiders.
Yeah. Flying spiders are a problem.
But yeah, just look for us live tomorrow night. If nothing, you never know. People cancel, so
yeah.
All right. Make sure you send me some stuff so I can post it for you.
Solid.
Okay.
Because I will be up and working early tomorrow.
Yeah, I'll have to. I have to get some stuff together.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Alrighty.
All right.
All right.
Thank you for watching us, because we're watching you, folks.
Let me get to where this is at. Hang on a second.